It's about 9 o'clock at night. Now, if you're going to play around with gasoline, you know, all of us think, well, you know, it's not going to happen to us, or there can't be a problem. The thing is, if you did have a gasoline fire, just accidentally, some freak thing, if you don't have some water or a fire extinguisher real handy, within about 30 or 40 seconds it can ruin your day, and it can give you a whole new vocabulary to your dictionary called crispy crittered, and that's not good. So what I've done in trying to get this to work correctly, and here's another thing too, if you see little tiny pieces of your radiator that are these little fins, you just straighten them out with a screwdriver or a little knife blade, and so the air will go through them better. What I've done here is I've put in a new pump, which is right down in here. I've taken the fuel line, and I think you can see it right there, with right next to the fuel filter, and you can see the way the fuel filter fits in there. And the fuel line is only maybe, I don't know, 3 inches long. It's real short. And I've hooked up the electricity to it. I've also cleaned the one-way valve, which is right, let me see where to go. It's right under here. There's a one-way valve right underneath here, which only allows the gas to go, or petrol to go, from the tank and up this way. It will not allow it to go the other way. This is your fuel sensor. This is the last thing you probably need to hook up as far as that goes. And see, of course, I'll be able to hook this up just perfectly when I'm off camera. That's there, and it goes, you want to, Honda has really done a lot of things with, they have places for the wires to go. The wire is supposed to go right through there. You have one wire, or one wiring harness, which this is called, which goes underneath the tank and over to here. And you have a brake line that goes over here beside the tank, and then you have a throttle line and a breather hose that go underneath the tank on this side. So there's all kinds of ways for it to go. I'm not sure if I have this throttle line connected right, whether it should be, yeah, I can see a wear mark right there, whether it should be on top or the bottom of these two, but that's no big deal as long as it's not crimped. Now the batteries are all charged up. The gray battery is the bigger one for the RUCKUS. And I will hook that up tomorrow, and then I will turn the key on and make sure that the pump is working correctly and there's no problems. Usually, why the pump started smoking, I don't know. I talked to an expert of mine that's a two-stroke expert, and I kind of run everything by him, and he gave me some insight. He's about 70 years old, and he said, you know, Randy, what it could have been is ice crystals that were in the tank and that got into the motor and jammed up the impeller. And the impeller is the little electronic internal fan, you call it like an internal fan, that moves the fluid through where you want the fluid to go. That could have been what happened. But then if it was smoking like that and melting the unit on the back here, right here, what I'm wondering about, if it got this hot enough to short it out and melt it, how come none of the wiring melted? Or that's what these fuses are for right here. See, these fuses are the weak link in your electronic system. If you did not have fuses, if you shorted something where you crossed your positive with your negative and overloaded the wire, it would melt the wire, the wiring harness, and it would cause all kinds of problems. And these wiring harnesses, you think, well, it's a bunch of wires. No, it's a bunch of hand-built, color-coded, time-consuming, very expensive stuff. And a wiring harness usually costs a lot of money. But it's getting kind of late, and I want to go to bed now. I think I've been up since 4 o'clock painting, staining. I think walnut doors. Are they walnut or hemlock? Or, I don't know, some really nice doors. Rich people love solid wood doors and cabinets and all that kind of stuff. Why? I don't know. They must all be rich like women. Because men, hell, I'd go down to Sears and get myself a $29 door and put the rest on a new bike. Okay. This project is almost done. Tomorrow it will be done. If it starts, then what I will do is, I've already adjusted the front brake. I'll adjust the back brake the same way. I'll show you how that's done. Then I'll make sure there's enough air in the tires with my air compressor. I'll check all the bolts that I think need to be tightened. I'll put the floor pan back on. That's the floor pan. The yellow cover right here. And the seat, which is right there. And this project will be done if everything works okay. Then I can start on the Dio and on to my supercharged carburetor. And I want you to know that, you know, there's a lot of knockoff carburetors in the world, but you can't beat a Mikuni for being well built, well engineered, and expensive. And I'm old enough where I can buy, you know, it's not like a Weber 45 DOC carburetor or something. It's just a motorcycle carburetor. They're not that expensive compared to spending $700 or $800 for like, you know, Webers. Okay, I'm gonna call it a night.